Well, 2022 is upon us and 2021 is long gone into our distant memories. And it's January, and that means looking ahead to some of the most anticipated games of 2022. So there's plenty to be excited about this year. We've got loads of big hitters to look out for, plus loads of unannounced surprises as well. Without further delay, let's jump into the list. Well, first of all, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. So this one is another game from Dotemu, and it's scheduled for release this year, and it's one I've been really looking forward to since the announcement. So following on from the successful release of Streets of Rage 4 back in 2020, it's time to revive the Turtles arcade scrolling beat-em-up classic. I don't think this one is going to be full of too many surprises. You know, if you play scrolling beat-em-ups, you pretty much know what this is going to be. This has got gorgeous pixel art graphics, all the Turtles are here, plus we should have April O'Neil and Splinter as playable characters as well. And hopefully we have Casey Jones in there too. But we don't know exactly when this is going to be released, but hopefully we'll have some news soon. Well, next up, we've got Sea of Stars. So this one, it was announced fairly late in 2021, and it's from the same team who made The Messenger, and that gets me really, really excited about the game. This is very much in the mould of the old-school turn-based RPG. You know, I'm thinking about Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger, and the combat system looks really interesting, and it's going to be brought up to date with Sabotage Studios saying this. So pressing the action button in sync with the animations increases the damage output whilst reducing incoming damage. And along with time hits, combat features multi-character combo attacks, boosting, and strategic lock systems offering options to play with different damage types in order to hinder enemies while they are channeling powerful attacks or spells, all in an immersive take on the genre. No random encounters, no transitions to separate battlefields, and no grinding. So all of that sounds really, really appealing. And that one is due on Nintendo Switch in winter 2022. Well, next up we've got Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. So this one is set in a dark fantasy interpretation of the setting for the original Final Fantasy game, with a group of people drawn into it from another world. So the main character is Jack Garland, a man consumed by a need to destroy chaos, and he's accompanied by other companions, including similar newcomers Ash and Jed. And during the journey, he faces a knight who's been taken on the role of Chaos, while seemingly the foretold Warriors of Light each has doubts as to whether it's their role or not. So Stranger of Paradise is an action role-playing game in which players explore environments and fight monsters of the Final Fantasy series. So combat takes place in real time, with Jack being able to switch between two assigned jobs and use physical and magical attacks. So once an enemy's break gauge is depleted, Jack can perform a finishing blow that crystallizes the enemy, allowing Jack to harvest them and restore a portion of his magic meter. Well, this one has got big Dark Souls or Neo vibes. The action combat looks really, really tough, and I really think it could be a massive deal this year. Well, next up we've got Forspoken. So Forspoken, had much of the spotlight from Square Enix in the past few months, featured on Sony's State of Play, and then Square Enix gave influence and media outlets hands-on time with it quite recently. So looking at the fluid movement plus the action, it's one of my most anticipated for 2022. So the gameplay in Forspoken appears to be action-adventure and RPG. So the main character, Frey, moves incredibly fast across the environments among the high-fidelity backgrounds, as well as the traversal across the environments Frey can climb and run up cliff surfaces and jump to, in similar gameplay to that of 2018's Marvel's Spider-Man. So enemies look tough and imposing, which include a massive golem, a zombie bear, plus you've got some terrifying saber-toothed cats. And Frey has got magical abilities, which include forming a shield of light and making vines explode out of the ground at a moment's notice, and Frey can also fire high-speed projectiles at enemies, so it seems like Frey has a decent arsenal at her disposal. Looks really, really good for Forspoken, and that one's coming out in May 2022. Well, next up we got Somerville, so we don't have too much to go on what Somerville is at the moment, but we had the trailer at E3, and the credentials of the developers really make me sit up and pay attention to this one. So Somerville is an upcoming game and a debut title by the independent studio Jumpship, but crucially the studio's co-founder Dino Patti previously co-founded Playdead and worked on Limbo and Inside as an executive producer on both games. So similar to Limbo and Inside, Somerville is an adventure game played from a third-person perspective, and most often at times like a platform game. And the player controls a family of three. You got a father, a mother and their young son, as well as the pet dog in the wake of a post-apocalyptic event on Earth. And the player must guide one of the characters through the ruins of civilization, avoiding strange alien artifacts that try to kill humans, and working with human survivors to try and find safety for the family. So like Limbo and Inside, the game is presented without dialogue, instead using the setting, the environments and the animations to tell the story. Well, next up we got a big one. It's Horizon Forbidden West, and this one is only around the corner, coming in early February 2022. So in Horizon Forbidden West, the story of Aloy continues. So she is a young hunter from the Nora tribe, sent on a quest to the Forbidden West to find the source of a mysterious plague that's killing all it touches. So as Aloy makes her way across the land, she encounters these large, massive robo-dinosaurs. Hostile enemies can now control the machines that they ride, and also deadly traps. So the environments in Forbidden West have been expanded too, to include deserts, mountains, valleys, tropical beaches, and also ruined cities. So Aloy's got some new tools to play with in this new adventure, and they're going to help her across the land and fight the machines. So the focus scanner helps highlight climbing areas, which are otherwise hidden. So you've got the pullcaster, aka the grappling hook, that helps Aloy traverse the environment. You've also got the shield wing, so looks and operates in a similar way to Link's glider in Breath of the Wild, and the diving mask allows Aloy to swim underwater for long periods of time. So as well as the new items to help Aloy navigate the environment, there's also new weapons too. So Guerrilla Games showed off an impressive battle sequence during the State of Play, so Aloy battling a big elephant-like thing. So Aloy's got a new spear, which when used at close range can be used to chain multiple combos. You can also apply buffs, which are known as surges, to help take down powerful enemies. And Aloy has a number of special arrows now which can strip back armor and help expose weak spots. And Aloy can also pick up weapons that enemies drop, and that was shown off in an impressive sequence against the Tusk. So combat in Horizon has always been precise and thrilling, and looks like it's going to be taken to the next level in Horizon Forbidden West. Well, next up we've got another PlayStation exclusive, and this one is God of War Ragnarok. So this one is an upcoming adventure action game developed by Santa Monica Studio, and it's going to be published by Sony Interactive. So it's scheduled to be released in 2022 for the PS4 and the PS5, and it's going to be the 9th installment in the God of War series. So this one's going to be the direct sequel to 2018's Game of the Year, God of War, and loosely based on Norse mythology. The game is going to be set in ancient Scandinavia, so featuring Kratos and his son Atreus. So serving as the finale to the Norse era of the series, the game's going to cover Ragnarok, a series of events that bring about the end of days and depicts the death of the Norse gods, which was foretold to happen in the previous game after Kratos killed Baldur. It taking place 3 years after the events of the previous game, Fimbulwinter is drawing to a close, and it's prophesied that Ragnarok will begin once it comes to an end. So a now teenage Atreus, still reeling from the revelations from the previous game, seeks answers about his identity as Loki, as well as the way to prevent Ragnarok from happening. But to uncover the truth, Kratos and Atreus set out to find answers, searching for the giant Norse god Tyr, who was previously believed to be dead. And while traversing the 9 realms, the duo must face new threats, including Thor, the enraged god of thunder, and also Freya, their former friend and ally, both seeking vengeance following the deaths of their respective sons at Kratos' hands. So the story is set up to be really exciting for God of War Ragnarok, and we haven't got a confirmed release date in 2022 yet, so it is yet to be seen whether this one will release or not. I'm predicting at the moment this one's probably going to be coming in November 2022, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Well, next up we got another big one, and it's Lost Ark, and I think this one could be the game, other than Destiny 2, that I sink the most hours in 2022. Having played the closed beta in 2021, Lost Ark convinced me it's something of a special game. So Lost Ark is a free-to-play MMO ARPG, and the gameplay is from a perspective similar to Diablo. So you've got classes, loot, exploration and combat. You can customize your skills, your weapons and gear, and spec into different playstyles. So the combat is definitely an ARPG style, and you'll be able to level up your weapons and armor through quests and raids, battling world bosses and also PvP opponents too. So Lost Ark promises easy-to-learn combat features that lean into their tripod system, where you can unlock 3 tiers of customization for your abilities, letting you control how you want to fight. So it's definitely easy to control, and there's potential for massive battles, and this one is going to be an awesome game to jump into with friends. And given it's free to play, hopefully getting some friends together shouldn't be a major issue, and hopefully there's going to be good matchmaking available. So one of the promising facts about Lost Ark is it won 6 awards at the Korean version of the Gaming Oscars in 2019. So this means the game is out there, people are playing and loving it. So from the visuals alone, you can see this one has the potential, but it won everything from character creation, sound, technical achievement, and also the People's Choice Award and it's also been out since 2018, meaning the developers have had time to hone the game based on player feedback. So I'm really excited for Lost Ark, and I can't wait to cover it on the channel. Well, next up we got another big one. It could be one of the biggest games ever from Software, and this one is Elden Ring. So Elden Ring is perhaps the most anticipated game of the year, and it is pretty high up there for me. So since the reveal in 2021, we've also had the closed network test, where fans could get their hands on the game, and the hype levels have just increased massively. So some are touting this could be the best game from Software that they've ever made. So this is apparently From Software's biggest game to date, perhaps highlighted with the horse, which is something new to a From Software game. You know, other games have always walked around on foot. However, this time we've got a horse, and it looks like we can fight on horseback, as well as jump super far. This was one of the most memorable moments for me in the trailer, seeing that horse leap vertically at the speed of a jumping pad. So given we've got horses, it feels like the land we traverse could be massive, and something on the scale of The Witcher 3 or Ghost of Tsushima. You know, we're going to be able to explore and fight during the day and the night, plus there's a dynamic weather cycle too, making for a very realistic environment to explore. So day and night cycles have appeared in From Software games, however, they've been linked to more specific encounters. You know, all of the NPCs of the game have deep lore, and this time we have the benefit of the collaboration between Miyazaki and also George R.R. Martin. So George R.R. Martin only really did the world building and the background, but it is likely to attract a new audience. So according to a press release, the characters will have unique motivations for helping or hindering your progress, and they all have profound backgrounds. So really excited for Elden Ring, and that one comes out on the 25th of February 2022. Well, next up we got the big one for me. It's Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, and Destiny 2 The Witch Queen expansion comes out in February. You know, it's at the business end of a jam-packed month. So in that month we've got Sifu, we've got Dying Light 2, we've got Destiny 2, we've got Elden Ring, and we've got Horizon Forbidden West. So we've probably got 3 good contenders for Game of the Year there, all coming out in February, so it's going to be absolutely jam-packed. So we've had a massive build-up to this since Beyond Light was released, and also with Savathûn really since 2015. So The Witch Queen has been a long time in the making. So with the Witch Queen expansion, we're getting a new weapon type with the Glaive, we're getting weapon crafting, a new 6-person activity, a new raid, new exotics, and all that Destiny 2 goodness we've come to expect. We're also getting a complete rework of the Void subclass to bring it in line with the newer subclass 3.0 system, like we have with Stasis right now. So in terms of the story, Savathûn has somehow managed to get hold of the light and bestowed this on our Hive brood. So we're going to be fighting Hive Guardians for the first time in Destiny history. So Destiny 2 had a great year in 2021 when it comes to the narrative, and also the seasonal progression, storytelling, and the wider sandbox balancing. You know, more work definitely needs to be done in PvP, and also reworking the light subclass into the newer system, but I do think it's going in the right direction. I'm really looking forward to what Bungie has in store for us all. Well, finally today is my most anticipated game of the year in 2022, and that is Breath of the Wild 2. So I was hoping this one would be released in 2021, however Nintendo has been hit pretty hard with COVID restrictions, so hopefully this one is going to happen in 2022. Nintendo showed off their latest glimpse of Breath of the Wild 2 at E3 2021, having introduced the game at E3 2019. And one of the first things we notice here that Link is falling from the sky, and he appears to have a corrupted right arm, whereas the Link with the glider appears to be the original from Breath of the Wild. So it looks like there could be 2 Links in the game, perhaps similar to Ocarina of Time, where we play as young Link or regular Link. We also see Link running through Hyrule. He's got his long hair flowing. Again, he's got that corrupted arm. In the distance, we can see a floating island in the sky. And this appears to be the theme for Breath of the Wild 2, with Hyrule dramatically changed from the first game, and parts of Hyrule have floated up into the air. I don't know about you, but to me, this indicates there's going to be loads of verticality in Breath of the Wild 2. And I think Nintendo have patented a few unique game mechanics here. And we did see a little bit of that with Link emerging through the floor. So I do think it's going to be really interesting. Well, Link clearly has some new powers, so a spiky ball is falling down towards a hill, and it looks like Link can either turn back time or use some kind of new kinetic power to push the spiky ball back up the hill. You know, a rewind time mechanic would be really cool. That opens up loads of possibilities for puzzles in the game. We also see Link wielding what looks to be a flamethrower, but this is on his other arm when comparing it to the corrupted arm. Also in the final scene of the latest trailer, we can see Hyrule Castle. It's shaking, it's rumbling against the backdrop of dramatic music, and it raises itself into the sky. There's clearly an event that leads to this, whether it's the discovery of the Ganondorf-like corpse underground, or the corruption escaping and affecting Hyrule in some way. And then the latest trailer closes with the castle in the sky, Zelda's lullaby playing in the background against a beautiful sunset over Hyrule. It all fades to black with the number 2022 left on the screen. So there's still plenty of questions surrounding Breath of the Wild 2, but Nintendo, they're keeping their cards very, very close to their chest. But hopefully we're going to hear about it very soon. And again, I think this one is going to come out in November 2022. Well, that is it for my most anticipated games of 2022. I'd love to hear what you think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again. I'll see you soon.